Another day, another pack. This is the weekly tasting. I'm Laura Maniec, Master Sommelier. I'm pleased that you trust me to join me on this discover, whatever you call it, of Bordeaux. It's our favorite wine producing region. It's the most famous wine producing region. I remember studying it as a sommelier and being like, why did they rate this region as far back as 1855? So Bordeaux is in the southwest part of France and it's famous. People make money selling, buying, drinking Bordeaux. But you know what you need to know is that Bordeaux is a style of wine, red wine, white wine, and rosé, and sparkling, and that it's made from a specific group of grapes. So we call them the Bordeaux grapes. For white wine, the Bordeaux grapes include Sauvignon Blanc and Semillon. And for rosé or sparkling rosé, you can use those white grapes, but you can also use Cabernet Franc, Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon. So in general, Bordeaux is a combination of grapes. It's like the original blend. The art of the blend is what makes it so special. Being in the southwest part of France, we never have a problem with sunshine, but there is like an influence of the Atlantic Ocean, and sometimes you have great vintages, sometimes bad vintages, sometimes okay vintages. So the idea is that for the very first time in wine production, you have what one grape lacks, the other grape makes up for. So imagine Merlot is like a late ripening grape or an early ripening grape. It's actually an early ripening grape. And Cabernet Sauvignon is late. If there's a hail or a frost coming, one grape will be like surviving and the other grape might be not so good. So Bordeaux is all about blending these grapes. Anyway, I can't wait to discover Bordeaux with you, and I'm thrilled that you joined us on this trip, and I'll see you in the southwest of France. I'm excited because, you know, we find these regions that we love so much, and then we realize there's the rainbow of colors. So imagine you love Bordeaux. I know you love Bordeaux. You're discovering Bordeaux with me. And then you realize, wait a minute, it's not a color Crayola box, red only. You mean to tell me that they make white wine in Bordeaux? Yes. I don't have any in this pack just because we only have 4 wines in a pack. But I was like, let's have something bubbly, and here we are. So this wine is La Grange aux Filles. You know, it's French, so you can say La Grange, oh, Phil, whatever. I don't care, I'm not judging you. So La Grange aux Filles is called a Crémant de Bordeaux. That means anytime we see the word Crémant, if you zoom in on the label and or if you look at the label on your own, you'll see Crémant just means sparkling, like a sparkling wine from Bordeaux. So this happens to be bubbly, it's not champagne, but it is sparkling. And in this case, it's 70% Merlot. There was a red wine grape, Merlot, and 30% Cabernet Franc in this blend. If you smell it, it smells like champagne. It's yeasty, it's brioche, it's kind of toasty. Maybe a little bit less like floral like you find in champagne, and more like herbaceous, maybe sort of savory green herbs. I often find like this kind of jalapeno or bell pepper in Crémant de Bordeaux. Say it with me. Red plums, black plums. The finish is long and it's silky, yet you still have that high tone, refreshing citrus note, and it's pretty much perfect for any fried food, any kind of chicken wings. You know, you want to be highbrow, lowbrow, you bring a bottle of Crémant de Bordeaux to a party and ask the host to fry up some chicken. This wine is another wine that I'm super passionate about. It's going to blow your mind. 100% Merlot in this case. This is Chateau Tour du Moulin, which is a red wine made from the Merlot grape from an area called Fronsac. So since we're discovering Bordeaux, I have to tell you a little bit about Bordeaux. Bordeaux is basically divided into 2 sections. They're not official, but they're called the left bank and the right bank. So just to give you an idea, imagine Bordeaux, southwest France, the Atlantic Ocean is to the left, I guess you can say, of Bordeaux. Imagine Bordeaux is like a backwards peace sign, right? So there's this like big area, and there's one main river, and it splits up into like two estuaries. So river and like side rivers, and it makes like a peace sign looking thing. This area that we're talking about in this bottle is from the right bank. It's on the right side of the river. It's Fronsac. And Fronsac is known for Merlot. But more importantly, remember when Merlot got that bad rap in Sideways, that movie? Merlot is actually like deserves its place in fine wine category. Merlot is everything you like about Cabernet, but maybe not as much tannin. So in this case, I wanted to pick a wine that shows like the breadth, the intensity, the ripeness of the region, the south of France, red plums, black plums, like red cherries, and it has like this mouthfeel that's velvet and it's big and you're pleased, but it doesn't dry out your mouth. You don't need food. So Merlot and lamb go really well together because they have the same kind of meaty texture. So we'll check this out. It's just near the area of Pomerol, and you might know the Pomerol region. To me, it has like cocoa or like chocolate aromas. Like it reminds me of like that nice like dark chocolate bar, fireplace wine. Kind of smoky cigar box, cedar, all of those like nice toasty flavors. The most surprising thing about this Bordeaux versus the ones to come is it's a round texture, like it's just juicy. So if you want a lesson in tannin, this wine, 100% Merlot, round tannin, a little bit dusty at the edge, but wait till we get to the next wine and then you'll really see what it means to dry out your mouth. This wine, it's a study in contrast, compare and contrast, or contrast and contrast, whatever you want. I love the idea that these packs are not just the wines on their own. The whole point of the weekly tasting is that you're seeing wines in the context of how do they compare to other wines. Like I might not love everything in our pack, and truly we hope you do, but at least I understand what does one grape lend to the other. And this is the perfect example. In this wine, which is called Chateau La Tour Cordouan, we have a 50% Merlot and a 50% Cabernet Sauvignon. So remember, I taught you that Merlot is red fruit. It's silky, it's round. Well, Cabernet Sauvignon is the opposite. So if you have 50% Merlot and red fruit and chocolate and cocoa, and it's round, and then you have 50% Cabernet, you might be wondering, what does the Cabernet add? So Cabernet Sauvignon is the grape that's like the king of grapes and the wine for kings, if you will. It's definitely a deeper, more black fruited grape. Cassis is a word we often use, or dark blackberries, foresty, smoky, cedar. But the most important thing is texture, and Cabernet Sauvignon has like a thick skin, and it makes darker, deeper wines, and those darker, deeper wines feel more like chalky, sandy, gritty, you name it. But imagine you have that, and then you have this kind of relief from the Merlot. So the idea of this wine is it's slightly bigger than the 100% Merlot I sent to you in the pack, but that this wine has red fruit and black fruit. So this is from the Médoc. That's that area on the left bank of the river. You remember? Okay, so this one is Chateau Dufilhot. It's 75% Merlot, with the balance of the blend being Cabernet Sauvignon and Cabernet Franc. So again, I remember when I was talking about this pack, like these wines are similar. Like they're not so dramatically different. We're not comparing, you know, Italian wine and Spanish wine, or French wine and California wine. I mean, we're looking at a section of the world, Bordeaux, and we're saying, what does one grape have and what does one grape have, and how are these wines different? So this wine is from the Côtes de Bordeaux, and I finally figured out how to explain Bordeaux to you guys. And I thought about steak. So in this pack, we have Cabernet Sauvignon, the main red grape, very tannic. We have Merlot, very soft. but still powerful. We have Cabernet Franc, very savory. And I thought about the idea that in a cow, or when we're talking about steak and cuts of beef, we have different like textures, and they're all equal. There's no judgment. Like you can like ribeye or filet mignon or porterhouse, the best of both worlds. And I think this is the perfect way to describe Bordeaux. And in this case, this is your ribeye steak. This is 75% Merlot. It's got 15% Cabernet Sauvignon and 10% Cabernet Franc. So you remember, you get all the texture from the Merlot, you get a little bit of grip from the Cabernet Sauvignon, and then the flavor or the savory notes of like just like herbs at the end is Cabernet Franc. So I think that this one is, out of all of the 4 wines, the one you want to drink last. If you are entertaining and you have a pack, oh, let's open all of our Bordeaux, let's have people over, let's make like a different steak and pair it with these different wines. This is definitely your last wine. But either way, even if the next 4 weeks in a row, you're trying these, as you go to your butcher and you say, this is the filet mignon wine, this is the ribeye wine, this is the prime rib wine, this is the one for everybody. I hope you like it. In closing, I want to recap what you should know if you're thinking about Bordeaux. First of all, we're in the southwest part of France. It's sunny, it's warm, we're on the Atlantic Ocean, and the breezes from the Atlantic Ocean will certainly change year over year. So that's why vintage is really important about Bordeaux. In closing, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, those are your 3 main red grapes. And yes, they make white, rosé, sparkling, dessert wine, and everything in between. I'm so excited to talk to you about Bordeaux, and I can't wait to hear your social media comments. What's your favorite Bordeaux? Let me know.